Somewhere in Columbus, in the middle of the woods, we see a young man frantically running away from something. His body eventually gives out. Moments later, someone calls for him, Ulysses. And when Ulysses turns around, he finds that the Inhuman royal family led by its queen, Medusa, has arrived. And as fellow Inhuman Crystal points out, this is a good thing. Fast forward a few weeks, and we find ourselves in the middle of Manhattan, where Iron Man and the Avengers appear to be on the ropes.
Ow.
This is crazy, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even by your founding members of the Avengers standards?
Oh, yeah.
Tony rallies the rest of his Avengers team, which includes legacy heroes like Sam Wilson, aka Captain America, Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, Miles Morales, Spider-Man's successor, and Sam Alexander, the spacefaring hero known as Nova. It's here that we get to see the obstacle they're faced with, and it is cosmic in proportions. A celestial threatening to destroy the world. A second later, Iron Man and his team jump into action to face the gigantic menace in front of them. Miles is forced to stop in his tracks when he hears a loud boom off in the distance. But the armored Avenger reassures him everything's going to be fine.
Don't panic, kid. That's the plan working. That gorgeous sound of a sonic boom and a simultaneous thunderclap. That means Thor is here. And that means it's time.
As if on cue, Marvel's most iconic heroes, from Carol Danvers' Ultimates to the Inhumans themselves, have banded together to put a stop to the world-ending threat. It takes the combined magical might of Marvel's mystics to send the Celestial Destroyer to whence it came. In the aftermath, the superheroes regroup, as Captain Marvel and Iron Man share a lighthearted exchange.
You reading anything?
Sky is clear.
Drinks are on you, then.
Drinks are definitely on me.
Say what you will about Iron Man, but the man stays true to his word. The next evening, our heroes celebrate their most recent W at Stark Tower. As parties go, it's what you'd expect. They socialized, drank, and feasted. However, there is one thing that's been gnawing at Carol's mind.
Hey, Medusa.
Captain.
So, how did you know this was all going to go down?
I was literally just now about to ask the same question.
And so, we circle back to Ulysses, as the Queen of the Inhumans introduces the boy to the rest of Marvel's mightiest heroes. There's some hesitation in the boy, but Medusa makes it known that all is well.
How did you know what was coming our way yesterday?
It's okay.
You said tell no one.
You can tell them. We're trying something new.
Good. Good for you.
Well, I saw it.
Ulysses reveals that he pretty much has the ability to see the future. To further understand the machinations of his powers, the heroes call on X-Man Jean Grey to probe his mind. Prior to doing so, we find out that Ulysses is a newly minted Inhuman, one whose genes got activated from the recent Terrigen mist explosion that hit the world. More importantly, though, is when Jean Grey and the rest of the superheroes discover that Ulysses' mind is immune to psychic probing. As Jean Grey puts it,
"It is very interesting. His mind is like a closed system."
Their investigation as to why this is possible is interrupted, however, when Captain Marvel jumps on the chance to bring Ulysses into their fold.
Really?
What's the problem?
Well, we have an Inhuman we've never met, whose mind is a closed book, who can somehow tell us a future. And that's good enough for you?
It was good enough for you yesterday.
Yesterday, I didn't know what this was.
Would it have changed your mind?
Is this because he is an Inhuman?
No, I couldn't care less about that.
What's on your mind, Tony?
Perhaps still reeling from the time he and Steve Rogers had their first civil war with each other, Tony bows out of this argument. But still, he insists that using Ulysses as a preventive measure against any and all evil won't end well for anyone.
We have no idea about the probability ratio his power is working with.
Probability ratio? All I care about is that the world keeps turning.
It wasn't a possible future, Tony. It was going to happen. Did you see that thing?
But it didn't happen because we stopped it. So it wasn't the future. It was a possible future. Think about it.
If everyone's alive at the end of the day, it was the right thing to do.
Tony decides to drop it and instead asks Ulysses his story. The boy tells them about how he seemingly experiences the visions that he sees firsthand. He unsurprisingly freaked out when he first went through it at first. But Medusa and the Inhumans helped him get a grip on his newfound ability. After hearing all this, Tony makes another plea to the rest of his allies.
Okay, let's say the guy here comes running up to us and says, "Oh my God, I just saw a vision of the Hulk making out with Ultron." and a baby popped out, and the baby was a reincarnated Hitler.
I pay to see that movie.
No doubt. But do we stop the Hulk before it happens? Do we lock him away before he does something we don't like? Again, yesterday was yesterday, easy call. The big cosmic monster doesn't invade, no harm, no foul. But what if the next one isn't so easy? What if the next one is one of us?
Tony turns to Carol in the middle of his speech.
What if Ulysses tells us you are a danger to our future? Do we stop you before you do your voodoo that you're going to do, even though maybe you didn't even know you were going to do it?
Depends.
On what?
I thought you were a futurist.
Nothing is solved in the end as Tony excuses himself from the rest of the group. 3 weeks later, Ulysses has another one of his visions. And after seeing it, he can only think of one thing.
We have to call the Ultimates.
Not long after, Tony Stark is taken by surprise when his executive assistant, Mary Jane Watson, informs him about something truly tragic.
It's Rhodey.
He's here?
He's gone.
Tony wastes no time to get in his Iron Man suit and make a beeline for the Triskelion, home base of the Ultimates. There he finds his best friend, James Rhodes, aka War Machine, bloodied and lifeless.
How did this happen?
Captain Marvel put a task force together that...
Carol! Stark, please!
Carol Danvers. Where is she?
Tony finds the leader of the Ultimates in another room, sitting beside She-Hulk, who's been left half dead after the same mission that killed Rhodes.
What happened?
Thanos.
Thanos was back on Earth? He attacked you?
Not exactly.
Carol tells Tony that she and the Ultimates made the first move against Thanos, that they ambushed the Mad Titan. There's a creeping suspicion in Tony now.
How? How did you know where he was going to be? Carol?
Remember that Inhuman? The one who could?
No.
He came to us. He had a vision.
You killed my best friend.
Tony.
You killed him as good as if you did it with your own hands. I told you this would happen.
I'm sorry.
I told you.
Despite all this, Carol remains firm that she made the right call. Tony eventually calms himself down and storms off, but not before informing the Inhumans that he's going to make sure that none of them ever plays God again.
Jennifer, I can't hear.
It's our future, Carol, not his. Fight for it.
And with that, more cracks form between Carol Danvers and Tony Stark. But that's only the beginning of it, because it doesn't take long for us to find out that Tony has headed straight for New Attilan, the home of the Inhumans and, for all intents and purposes, an independent kingdom. And right here, right now, the Armored Avenger has one goal: to take Ulysses with him.
Don't do this, Tony.
Medusa.
Captain Marvel said you'd come here. I told her no matter your loss, there was no way you would disrespect this kingdom that way.
And I'm saying, this isn't a thing unless you make it a thing.
Go home. We will talk this over when your head is clear.
I'm taking Ulysses.
He is a subject of my kingdom. If our roles were reversed, you would never allow it.
It takes Tony a second to notice that Medusa has already used her hair to subdue his trademark armor.
I understand your grief, but I cannot let this happen. Last warning, go home.
Medusa, You know I respect you, but you're really in my personal space here.
What's going on?
I'm begging you, Tony, go home.
Holy!
Very well. We'll talk about this when you wake up.
But the Queen of the Inhumans spoke too soon because Iron Man is not just going to sleep this one away. Instead, he zaps her with electricity to free himself from her clutches. The rest of the Inhuman royal family arrives on the scene.
Karnak, I thought about you.
Stark!
Karnak, down!
I did. I thought about you. This thing you do, being able to detect structural weaknesses in things, in your opponents. As an engineer, I don't think I ever told you how much I admire that. Sorry I don't have any.
Crystal tries to blast Iron Man with electricity, and it culminates in an explosion. The dust settles, and X-Man Hank McCoy, aka Beast, proves how smart he is when he realizes what just happened.
What the hell?
It was a remote-controlled decoy armor. While you fought it, Stark obviously made his getaway. It's one of his signature tricks. The real Tony Stark has taken our young Inhuman and is long gone.
Why didn't you help us fight him, Henry?
I don't fight Tony Stark.
Shortly after, at the Triskelion, Carol orders S.H.I.E.L.D. Director Maria Hill to go to Stark Tower immediately after catching wind of his run-in with the Kingdom of Attilan and the Inhumans. Carol knows that Tony's obviously not going to be at Stark Tower, but the Inhumans who are looking for Retribution definitely will. In addition, Black Panther knows why the Inhumans have headed straight for Tony's main office.
They're not going there to find Stark. They're going there to stop Karnak from pulling the building down on the city.
And just as Black Panther surmised, Medusa has just barely stopped her cousin from doing something rash. So, Karnak takes another route. He tries to demand that Friday, Iron Man's AI assistant, hand over Tony to the Kingdom of Atalon. Still, it leads him nowhere.
He's not here.
In retaliation, I can bring this entire building down around.
Don't do this, please.
Captain Marvel and the Ultimates arrive just in the nick of time. They're not here to fight, but to parley instead.
Medusa, please. We will take care of this Tony situation internally.
What does that mean?
We will take care of it.
And we will return his hostage to you.
Please.
It is within your power to keep this from escalating. We will handle it.
You didn't stop Stark from invading our country, but you're here to stop us?
You knew this was coming and you did nothing.
Karnak, I gave you a big heads up. Even though I was hoping he would calm down, I was hoping he would...
You were wrong!
Just so we are clear, we were attacked. One of ours taken. Why? For helping you. For sharing ourselves with you.
We've all lost people today, please. One chance, that's all I'm asking.
Somewhere else in a secret hideout that only Tony Stark knows about, we see that he has indeed taken Ulysses hostage.
What did I do?
My best friend is dead.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry, thank you. I feel so much better now.
I'm still not sure what I did. I don't even know who we're talking about.
Colonel James Rhodes, an honest-to-God American hero. The mission you sent him on cost him his life.
Me? I didn't send anybody anywhere.
The grief-stricken Tony isn't hearing any reason right now. Instead, he sticks a patch on Ulysses' temple.
Well, what are you doing to me? I didn't kill your friend.
Show me how your powers work.
What?
These visions that you have one. Show me.
I don't make them. They kind of just happen. I can't control when.
Tony crosses a boundary when he strikes the boy, albeit with a relatively harmless flick to the side of Ulysses' face. That's all due in part to Tony's attempt at deciphering Ulysses' inhuman ability to see the future. According to the billionaire genius philanthropist, perhaps it's a matter of stimulus. Obviously rattled, Ulysses can only ask Tony one thing.
What do you want from me?
I'll tell you. I'm 90% sure I'm about to go to war with some very close friends of mine over you. And I want to make sure, damn sure, that I understand exactly what and whom I'm dealing with.
In fact, Tony shows us how overboard he's gone when he tells Ulysses that he's hired the likes of Jessica Jones and Dakota North to investigate the boy's parents before proceeding with prodding Ulysses some more.
But this isn't fair. You could have asked me to do these tests.
My friend died today because of a mission he shouldn't have known about. Let's not talk about fair.
Regardless of your stance on the matter, Tony's little science experiment is put to a halt when Friday sounds the alarms to his hideout.
Security breach.
They're here? Already? I am so totally off the grid. How? Hank McCoy. Damn. I keep forgetting he's with the Inhumans now, because that's just weird.
Tony knows what's up. So he rushes over to Ulysses' side before his friends get there.
What's happening?
Stuff is about to get really real.
What about how my powers work?
Friday downloaded a copy of your brain. I'll figure you out. If I survive what is about to happen. Now act like you're having fun.
What?
Captain Marvel and her crew unexpectedly storm into Stark's hideout, unleashing a barrage of insults on the armored Avenger.
You created quite an incident.
No, actually you did. I reacted accordingly.
Well, now we are, in kind.
Is everyone up to date on the subtext of this puppy? We all understand what happened here? Everyone knows that Rhodey is no longer with us, and She-Hulk isn't that much better off because Carol wants to control the future? Because it could have been any of us that died. It could have been you. It could have been you. And I'm actually shocked that it wasn't you, Clint.
Tony, you kidnapped a kid from his home.
Tortured him.
And it's here that we get to see how unhinged Iron Man has become, as he pulls himself close to Ulysses.
Come on, I didn't torture him. Look.
He tortured me.
A little bit.
Tony, I think you're having a bit of a nervous breakdown.
Oh!
And I would like to help you.
It's not a bit of a nervous breakdown. I am having a complete and total nervous breakdown.
As you'd expect, Tony and Carol get into another argument, which explains why they fail to notice Ulysses behind them. Because right now, the boy is having another vision. And it's more concerning than anything he's seen so far. In it, he sees a future where the Hulk has gone on an untethered rampage that manages to destroy everything and everyone around him, even the Avengers and Ultimates themselves. What's more curious is that this time, everyone else around him was able to experience Ulysses' vision.
Did you all feel that?
I felt it. I saw it. Tasted it.
He projects these images? I thought it was just a vision.
No, the projecting it into us, this is new.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The Hulk is going to kill you all.
Not long after, just outside Alpine, Utah, inside a lab dedicated to the study of gamma radiation, Dr. Bruce Banner, the Hulk's alter ego, receives a guest.
Dr. Banner?
Oh, Colonel Danvers. What a pleasant surprise. What can I do for you?
We then turn the clock forwards and find ourselves in the middle of the Manhattan Federal Courthouse, as superhero lawyer Matt Murdock calls his first witness to the stands, and it's none other than Carol Danvers.
Can you recall the events of July 19th of this year?
Of course. I was part of a consortium of representatives from the superhero community that traveled to a location outside of Alpine, Utah, to confront Bruce Banner.
We then travel back in time to directly experience the fateful meeting that took place inside Bruce's secret lab. We find out that Carol did not come here alone. She's there with Tony, and the two of them have one question. What has Bruce been working on inside this secret facility?
Answer the question, Bruce.
Tony, guys, I haven't had a Hulk incident in almost a year. Oh no, have I?
It's better if we talk about this outside.
No armor?
That was the deal.
The deal? Why? What's outside?
No matter what happens, stay calm. I believe in you.
Bruce steps out to find that an entire army of superheroes is waiting for him outside, prepared to do whatever is necessary should things go south.
Oh my God, what did I do?
That's the thing, Bruce. You haven't done anything.
Yet.
In the present, we see that Matt has called Tony to the stand, as the Armored Avenger recounts what happened back in Utah.
Bruce Banner had no idea why you were there?
No.
What was his initial reaction? Anger?
No, total and utter bafflement.
I don't understand.
Carol and Tony explain the situation to Bruce, about how Ulysses is able to see possible futures and, more importantly, how he saw a vision of the Hulk.
How did Banner take the news?
I'm so sorry, Bruce.
Tony, you experienced this vision too?
Yeah.
How bad?
All the way bad. I mean, you see what's going on here.
Oh my God.
In the present, Carol testifies about how she and the other heroes explained the accuracy of Ulysses' visions to Bruce. In the past, Tony and Carol continued to have their conversation with the foremost expert in gamma radiation.
So, we have a bit of a moral dilemma on our hands.
Wait for me to Hulk out or stop me before it happens.
Tony and I clearly disagree about using this kid's visions to fight for a safer future.
I say, well, you know what I say.
You say the future has to happen or it isn't the future. And the rest of you, you're here, you're all ready to put me away, put me down?
No.
No?
We're a split room.
Tony and Carol go on to tell Bruce that they needed more proof in order to decide what to do with him. Things seem to go awry for Bruce when Hank McCoy approaches them with said evidence.
He's experimenting on himself.
Oh, Bruce.
You're injecting yourself with treated dead gamma cells.
Meanwhile, in the present, Tony continues to testify in court that he tried to ask his old friend why Bruce didn't come to them first before performing gamma experiments on himself again.
After all the horror
You don't understand. My new work has kept the Hulk away.
But things only escalate from there when Maria Hill and Thor approach Bruce.
Bruce Banner, as Director of S.H.I.E.L.D., I am placing you under arrest. We have to detain you. I'm begging you, come quietly.
Do not make this difficult.
I haven't turned into the Hulk in almost a year because of my experiments.
Bruce, calm down.
And you all come to my home and you accuse me of...
Bruce?
What did you think?
But before things could escalate further, in fact, before Bruce could even finish his sentence, the unthinkable happens. An arrow tipped with vibranium zips through the air and hits the doctor right in the head, to the horror of everyone around. And as Carol puts it in her statement under oath, all hell broke loose after that.
Thor, the trees!
The superheroes of the Marvel Universe make for the nearby tree line, only to discover that none other than Clint Barton, Hawkeye, was the one who shot Bruce.
You! Why?
We learn in the present that Clint is the focus of this entire inquest due to his actions against Bruce. In the past, we see the aftermath of what happened right after Hawkeye released that fateful arrow.
Clint, what the hell was that?
Avengers, X-Men, Inhumans, this is officially a federal crime scene.
Clint, answer her! Clint, look at me! Why? Why?
Because Bruce Banner asked me to.
A flashback further into the past reveals that Bruce specifically approached Clint with this request. In fact, it was Bruce who handed him the same vibranium arrowhead that put him down. Because to Bruce, Clint was the only one who had the guts to do what was necessary to prevent him from ever hurting anyone as the Hulk again.
I need you to promise me you'll stop me once and for all.
Meanwhile, in the present, Matt continues his questioning.
So you would have us take you at your word even though you admit to your criminal past?
I would hope my other, more recent record of very public actions defending this country and this world, well, would more than make up for the sins of my youth.
Proof that Bruce did indeed ask Clint to take him out is revealed when a video recording of the event is presented to the jury. And to support Hawkeye's claim, Carol goes on to testify that Ulysses' visions had not failed them once since they started using them. However, Tony Stark shares a different opinion about all this.
I know I'm not here to testify that Hawkeye killed Banner. He admits it. But my friend was murdered. He killed a hero. A founding member of the Avengers was assassinated on his front lawn.
I understand you are emotional, Mr. Stark, but let's stick to the questions that...
You're not asking the right questions. This is not what we're supposed to be doing.
And in the past, we get a much closer look at the fallout of Bruce Banner's death and the deteriorating relationship between Iron Man and Captain Marvel.
We're supposed to be guarding! We're supposed to be protecting, defending, avenging.
What was this?
Accountability!
You made this happen, Danvers.
That's not fair.
You chased this. You couldn't leave this alone, and now another one of us is gone. Who's next on your hit list, Danvers?
Medusa, let's for now get Ulysses out of here.
I think you're right.
I'm sorry.
No, none of this is your call.
To make matters worse, this conflict between the two heroes has bled over to the younger generation of masked vigilantes.
This is nuts.
I think I'm with Iron Man.
Me too.
Tony, let's let S.H.I.E.L.D. do what it needs to do here.
You can't come back from this, Danvers. He murdered an Avenger. They're going to bury him for it. And then they're going to bury you for forcing his hand.
In the present, the jury's verdict regarding Clint's case is about to be revealed, while Tony stews in his own thoughts inside his lab. MJ tries to get him to check out what the court's ruling is going to be, but he tells her that he already knows. Friday interrupts their conversation with an update on their investigation into Ulysses.
Friday? Don't be messing with me.
I'm not programmed to mess with you. The calculations of Ulysses' brain activity are far from complete, but I think I know how his visions work.
Show me. Oh my God.
What is that?
It's our future.
That's all for now. We hope you like this video and can't wait to read your thoughts about it in the comments section below. Please don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe to our channel, and turn on that notification bell to be the first to see what we have in store for you. In the meantime, feel free to check out the next one. We'll catch you next time. Take care.